engage of Team WE successfully engage onto the Varus.
You would expect so, but there is also a chance that Ornn goes to the top side. Would also be able to deal with the Gangplank matchup. We saw that before, though the Gangplank actually did in the end get the better of the Ornn somehow, some way in the top side. And it will be again another Taric ban from WE on that side, so they have left open the Braum pick.
That means Team WE getting the first pick phase on the red side should actually lock in that Braum for themselves. I feel like that actually rounds out the team composition to be very good. Tahm Kench, Taric, and Alistar all banned. It leaves Shen as an option as well, if they choose. Something that could rotate towards the top side of the map. Unsealed Spellbook Shens have been running rampant in the LPL in the first week.
Cassian found a ban towards, of course, Xie in the mid lane. There's something to be feared, and plus they have the red side final pick, so what they actually want to bring into that mid lane that Cassian could do well against.
You know, aside from the Zoe, there's been pretty much no mid laners looked at whatsoever until the second ban phase. LeBlanc and Cassian are gone, but when you look at the meta mid laners that are still up and available, Malzahar and Azir are still very much there. They could be looked at no problems at all.
Absolutely, Malzahar, he's very much found himself in the first phase of bans in most games. Braum, going to be that pickup from WE here, so that has been taken away. Bilibili have lost a lot of priority on that support pool now. Not a lot left out for them. There is a Shen if they want to.
I do think they have to go with the Shen and the Azir. Just add an extra tank to the repertoire of their entire team composition. I think would round it out quite nicely. Azir's a lot of good scaling damage. Gangplank's the same, and Varus is always going to be doing damage throughout the game. This is the other way to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, Janna was banned out last game, but that was by BLG, and specifically because it was a Kog'Maw on the opposite side, but they could also pick it up. Now, Azir is the pickup for the mid lane for Athena. I'm not going to talk about it until it's locked in. But yeah, Azir, very much the classic lock-in. 3 seconds left on the support.
And they do opt towards the Janna opposed to the tank. Something that can provide tankiness, so to speak, with the Monsoon, with the shields there, to give a bit of extra laning presence to Athena, who's already going to do quite well in that lane. The last pick does get to be a counter if they choose towards the mid lane for Team WE, towards pretty much the MVP of the LPL so far in Xie. He's been playing out of his mind.
He absolutely has. In fact, WE just have crazy KDAs right now because it's just been, you know, smurfing and bronze pretty much. I mean,
did Xie die in the last game?
I don't think so. I mean, they only had 1 death, right? Because it was at the very end of the game, so.
True.
Very unlikely. You've got a 20% chance of it being Xie. I don't think it was.
Well, if he hasn't, then he just hasn't died in the LPL and is the only one on Team WE.
I mean, even if he has, then it's still a very high KDA. Right now, he'd just be operating at infinite, so. But the final pickup was Ryze into the mid lane, and he's pretty much just going to protect his KDA even more because it will have that combo, be able to Zhonya's and ult out.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know if you guys watched the EU LCS last night, but I'm having flashbacks already. I'm traumatized by the amount of times that Exile used the Ryze ultimate Zhonya's combo. He lived the game golden. But he overextended to bait the enemy team on purpose. Like, the game was literally, I will overextend, and they will come to me.
And then when they do that, go get something. And that's our game plan. The end.
It was rough. Anyway, we do have a Ryze again in this game, and that is one of the strengths of Ryze as a champion, and one of the things that can be brought about from Team WE compositionally, especially around mid-game when most Ryzers switch towards the teleport before the Ghost iteration of the Unsealed Spellbook changes.
So as we get into the second game, we've got 2 compositions that very much want to scale. I mean, especially the Ryze getting in there, the AD carries as well. We're going to see some early skirmishes. I want to see Bilibili get out onto the map. And this time, there's no Zac shenanigans. This is going to be the Sejuani, and the first pick as well from BLG.
You know, when it comes to laning matchups and early game control, something that is required for both of these teams, you know, last game WE had it, and they just steamrolled their way through the entirety of it. BLG do need to have some kind of early presence. Now, they picked a Varus, which I think is the correct call. It adds a lot of lane control in the 2v2. The Janna's just going to, once again, focus on empowering Jin Zhao, and he's a very good carry player when he's empowered and allowed to get going. So hopefully he plays his little heart out, because he's going to have to. He's going to have to provide another winning lane for BLG. Gangplank versus Ornn is kind of a skill matchup. Ornn's always going to push, but if Gangplank plays it exceptionally well, we have seen kills coming out for the GP on the flip side. Amazing J is a good enough player to try and make that happen, but 957's fairly indomitable as you go with top laners.
There's actually some BLG chants in the crowd.
I just feel like BLG should go before Team WE. so that it's not as embarrassing in the same way. You know, like, yeah, I want to be surprised by Team WE's noise.
That's always how you do it. You do the bigger team second. That's one for you. If you ever get into hosting, then it's a huge thing. Because otherwise it's like, oh. And here we go into game, BLG and Team WE.
You don't want a whoopsie-daisy moment.
Yeah, but that's very much in the hands of the fan clubs that are down there, in fact. Road and Jinjiao, they've got the Varus and the Janna matchup. Or the pickups, rather, 93%.
I see the percentage has shifted towards WE a little bit more so.
Shocker. I will say a lot of people jump ship in this region when it comes to the fan votes. But that's first tower. Who's going to pick up the first tower?
Yeah, okay. That kind of makes sense.
Fair.
I actually think that it's going to go to BLG on the bottom lane outer. That is my prediction. It is not a bold prediction, but I also don't know why I'm making it. I am just asserting myself. I'm going to do, unlike Raz, I'm going to make statements.
Oh, yeah. No fence sitting in this desk. Absolutely none of that. Again, on the bottom side, what have we got? So we've got 2 Relic Shields, as per normal, on Mystic and Ben. Goes to the side, Spell Thieves for Road, actually. Spell Thieves standing on Janna?
It's matchup dependent. If you're into a tank, you can absolutely go Spell Thieves, right? You're going to be able to proc it constantly, and in terms of gold, that is where you want it as Janna. And then you're looking at perhaps the move speed to stay alive, and against the composition that WE have, it's not a bad choice if you're able to hit the Howling Gale and just actually Usain Bolt out of there to keep yourself alive.
Let's see a look at top lane. It's going to be a Corrupting Potion start into a Durran Shield from Ornn right here. He's already got the initial push as well, so Amazing J to set up the wave so he can last hit these.
We were talking about it yesterday. There's only 2 ways a Gangplank can play a top lane, and that is queuing the enemy or queuing the wave, and Ornn tends to be a queue the wave matchup just because you can't deal with the amount of push that he has so early on.
He's got a push, and as soon as he walks into lane with Durran Shield, it's like, yeah, I'm actually just not going to queue you ever. Instant flash away, and a cleanse as well. Athena keeps doing that. Every time he sees the enemy jungler, he just mashes both of his panic buttons and runs away.
Yeah, the cleanse wasn't necessary. I think he just expected the knock-up to hit, perhaps, and wanted to cleanse flash his way out.
Yeah, if it was a QE flash from Melon.
Yeah, but he's alright in the end. Both summoners are gone. SKS has no health. He's not nearby, and they haven't spotted the Melon, who definitely just saw SK's recall, so he's coming back.
Melon is en route, and he's in place. Flag, drag, knock-up, auto-attack, and, I mean, who could have expected that one coming? A repeat gank there from Melon, first blood.
That is actually clinical from Team WE, going to the same lane where they get the summoners from before, but I didn't expect it to be a dive. I didn't expect it to be that aggressive, but still super well done from them. And the real reason that that is allowed to happen at all, which is super cool to see, is they've got a minion dematerializer on the rise, who on a cannon wave, killed the cannon, and then they just dove with the cannon, so there's going to be a wave there. Very good timing from them.
Results in first blood. And Melon is actually starting to get to the point where he's able to temper his aggression and his defense. Like, he's integrating into the team very well, and this is, what, like his 3rd, 4th game on the team? Maybe 4th, I think, right?
Yeah, 4th
they got the 2-0. So, yeah, Melon is actually doing exceptionally well to get those kills over to his laners, and they can do the rest.
The one thing that we have noticed from Melon is, whilst he doesn't often make very active and constant plays, when he does, he's diving. Like, when he does make that movement, he is so far into that decision that no one's going to slow him down and stop him when he's got his stride on.
That's KS. He's located Melon. He takes away his Grump. Melon isn't particularly happy about this, though his bot lane can't react as they are pushed in, so Melon has to flag and drag away.
Yeah, he's a level down, so the smite was at a disadvantage for WE's jungler. He made the gank, so that wins the middle lane, but SKS actually makes a very smart move and goes into the jungle and tries to change the tide of what has been happening in the first game, maybe make some extra proactive steps.
He's getting into the jungle there, but I'd like to see him start trying to affect these lanes. I mean, bot lane's already pushing, so fair enough, but mid lane, I need to try and do some catch-up work there. Top lane is actually consistently being shoved in because 957, while he's on, into a Gangplank matchup, so potential to see him go up there.
We'll have to see how Shie goes with timing on that ward as well. The Wolves have literally just spawned, so that is very well done. If it's Melon communicating or if it's Shie communicating when to place the ward, the Wolf camp. They get vision now of if Sejuani wants to show herself on that side. Instead is doing Krugs, but through process of elimination, kind of is on the bottom side of the map after the invade. Isn't it Raptors because there's already a ward there? Isn't it Wolves? Is either in bases or at Krugs.
I'm getting very concerned about the top lane right now as we get the coin getting picked up by Amazing J, so the banker flank is in play, teleports back towards the top lane, but this is a big CS lead right now, and he will maybe get 3 or 4 minions from this next minion wave crashing, but that's still like a 20 CS lead, if not like an 18. That's 3 minion waves that 957 has.
Yeah, it's an unreasonably large deficit for 5 minutes into the game, Paul. Something has happened up in that top lane to shift the tides. You don't expect the GP to be winning it, but you also don't expect to double his CS at 5 minutes as an on into a Gangplank. Gangplank's just really difficult to take down and kill, and all I've seen so far is that was a teleport on somehow, is actually just pushing him in. Gangplank under turret. Surely he can't miss that much CS.
Yeah. I mean, the most depressing thing, and now he's got the coin, so at least he gets something from those missed CS, right? But the most depressing thing is he went back with not quite enough gold to finish either the Sheen or the Phase, so just picks up an item of both of those items.
And you could have be 10 odd CS down because your your Klepto will make up for it. You've also got the coin there, as you mentioned, so a bit of extra gold income, and then the Q. So he's trying to make as much money as he can to compensate. It's just that the difference there is so substantial that I don't think it'll really ever make up that difference until we get to 15 to 20.
It is staggering, but now we just want to see him at the very least just try and even up that CS. Gets to the point where it's only going to be 20 in difference between them instead of getting worse and worse and worse. But we'll see how that one goes. SKS hasn't even touched the top side, but there are many, many wards up there. There is a control ward, got a crab going down, another ward in the jungle, so pretty much wherever SKS goes, he is being tracked.
There's the teleport for Xie into the middle lane as well. Right, starting to change up those things. There's another minion dematerializer on the cannon, and you can see how straight away he has control of mid lane. He has the push, and he's able to time that now where if he wants to assist his jungler, he can, but he's going to go pick up the blue buff instead. So SKS with a well-timed decision to go into the enemy red buff, knowing full well that no one's going to be there to stop him, even though Xie has control of mid lane.
Yeah, it is good. Again, bot side control goes over to WE here, though they haven't placed down that many wards. First dragon of the game will be Mountain, which is another very valuable first dragon to have in the game. 957 walking back up here. Let's see how he plays this laning phase. So we haven't seen a bunch of it, but I think he's just constantly using his Bellower's Breath here. SKS has spotted him, but he just dashes away.
Walks it out. There's no crowd control from a Gangplank unless a keg hits or if the ultimate's used to slow him. And with a full health on, I mean, it just pushes him back, maybe alleviates some pressure for AJ to try and farm the wave out, maybe reset some control and tempo in that top lane 1v1. It was more of a, I have the red buff, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I mean, 957 at the very least, maybe they burn his flash, maybe they burn his ultimate, but so hard to kill Ornn. He's just resumed position in front of Amazing J's tower. Yeah, and Melon has immediately responded. He's on the bottom side at the Krugs. That sets himself up for a bottom lane gank or for the enemy red buff with the vision that they've got. Kalissa's also thrown some wraiths out to have a look down there as well. As far as timing goes, if WE's bottom lane has 30 seconds, if the clock doesn't turn yellow on that red buff, then it may work out for them. It's just that Melon's wasting a lot of time. He'll jump onto the dragon though. He's level 6 and has a Stalker's Blade and a longsword, so he should be able to sell away here. Mountain is going to come down and help him anyway. Yep, is the slowest attacking dragon. Oh, going to be an ultimate from Amazing J. He's got SKS here, but he's coming in from the bottom side in the river. It's going to be down on this ultimate, but while he gets the stun, 957 will force a flash as well. So Amazing J now has the flash advantage. They gave it a red hot crack, Pulse. I like that they gave it a go. And unfortunately, trying to take down an Ornn is not one of the easiest tasks that you'll ever do on Summoner's Rift. 957 still controlling. Yeah, he's just going to jump on Amazing J, and that's essentially the lane. He's got the Grasp of the Undying, so every one of these trades is going to make him more and more healthy. Amazing J will probably take a drip back to base. But now there is the opportunity for SKS to try top lane again in a little while, because there is no flash there. And there's Road jumping on top of him, flashes, ignites, and then comes Athena, sweeps up the kill. Yeah, I didn't want to comment on it until I saw it, but I had a feeling that Road, by playing Janna, by having Ignite, and by having Aerie, was going to be one of those guys. You know, those guys that nobody likes, that maxes W and has Ignite as Janna. That was a lot of damage from Road just there on the Melon. Does 100%. Rip him apart. 100% of W max Janna. One of the worst. Gave him some boots early as well, 9 minutes and 30 seconds because of the assist, so it's a nice little bonus to get, not just the assist on the kill, but move faster back to your lane. And again, Road getting caught now on the bottom side, and they know that he doesn't have flash. Though he just popped the Monsoon, in comes the Fate's Core, he pops the perfect timing. Is in comes SKS, does he have the ultimate? No, he does not from the previous engagement, though Mystic may fall anyway, the knock-up still connects. That was a long-range tornado. And I understand what WE were trying to do. The no summoner spell's there for Road. You can 100% look at him, try and take him down.
But the perfect timing, the stopwatch was available, and he survives for long enough that SKS comes in, and Jin Zhao was freely hitting the entire time. WE, they overstep their bounds. They try and take something where it backfires. And now BLG get that turret.
And frankly, just props to SKS. Because he was in the right place at the right time, comes in for the counter gank, gets the kill, takes the tower, first blood tower as well, and this is now a lead to Bilibili, the first one they've had in this entire series.
And all 93% of you WE fans are wrong, and I was right.
Well, they still have to win the game. Oh, that's
no,
no,
the question was
it was the first tower, you're absolutely right, you win the 7%.
Even called the tower.
Fair enough, Rusty, you win this round.
I'm actually trying not to make a joke about Raz there for no particular reason.
Amazing Jay. I was actually pushing up now. 957's being very cautious just because he knows the bottom tower's down. He hasn't seen the bot lane in a long while, so doesn't want to get caught out by them.
And this is a good move from BLG going towards top lane. They're not going to kill 957. That's very unrealistic without Varus ultimate, without a lot of summoners available. But they're pressuring. They're sending everybody up here for the purpose of taking down the structure. Now, 957 has got the horn. He can sound that to clear the entire wave if the rest of his team doesn't make it in time. But best case scenario is he saves it. He uses it to actually engage when they finally get here.
It was also SKS, but they weren't able to execute the dive fast enough. So Melon has arrived, including Cavalry and Ben and Mystic. So now 957 can be relieved of duty, go back to base and walk towards the bottom side. In the mid lane though, she has been pinned down by SKS. Athena sending up that one, but it's a dash back. Athena's going to catch him as soon as he comes out of this, but it's slightly mistimed on the Conquering Sands.
Yeah, I don't know if they were going to kill him even if the Q connected. Xie survives, but that was very clean from BLG. Azir shifting him into the Sejuani ultimate. It looks super clean. The damage is good. The control they get of the middle lane is also great. But it was an Abyssal Mask Rise. He's super tanky right now with that single item spike already on the board for the mid laner of Team WE. He does walk away.
He does, but he had to use a stopwatch for that privilege, and he's got the ultimate down on top of that. So still an advantage to Bilibili, and they're just being way more proactive in this game, which is exactly what we wanted to see. They clearly went backstage and said something and came with the right game plan. So
what are you doing, bro?
Rogue just walked up to Melon and Ben, comes in with a W, and he's just like, what you gonna do?
That was the closest thing you'll see in a professional game to a tactical int, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not actually sure why he stood still and tanked the Gromp in range of Brov's Q. Alas, he did it, and he has paid for it with his life, WE, and now threatening top lane.
Well, I'm glad someone put him in his place, because he can't be allowed to keep getting away with it.
Oh, he deserves it for what he was doing just then.
Yeah, Janna players who max W do deserve that. Now Mystic will push the top tower. Ben's pushing this one as well, but Jin Zhao, he's got no support because Bro died. So he's just sat here in a bush, waiting for support to arrive so he can push up to the tower. Hello.
Road's on the way. He's very quick with his boots of mobility and the fact that he is Janna. So he's going to stride on back, and now he's going back to the jungle. So Jin Zhao, for about a half second, thought he was able to walk up to this turret, but it's already gone. Yeah,
it's already gone, and Road's left him again. So Mystic and Ben will take the tower, even up the tower trade, all in all. And Shane now also gets priority over the top side of the map, which includes a newly spawned blue buff.
And Herald. They're doing it simultaneously. They'll get the blue buff, they'll get the Herald, they get the top lane outer turret, and this is that moment where Bilibili Gaming's response is firstly impossible, just because of what happened when transpired before it, and secondly because they need to recall, they need to get these item spikes. They're not really able to pressure any lanes. It was just set up in WE's favor, and then Road made the mistake.
Yep. Which is just, you know, very bad in that situation because W picked up absolutely everything on the top side of the map, and they got the dragon early on top of that. Ocean Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, and WE can now just move back towards the bottom side if they want to try and control that. Still have the duo in the top lane.
You could look towards bottom. I would actually hope that they look towards the middle lane and utilize the Herald for that in some way. If they bring the Kalista and Braum about and have Jarvan nearby, it's one of the hardest turrets that they will be able to crack just because of Azir's wave clear. Where I feel like, yes, Gangplank has wave clear, but you can mismatch the long lanes with the AD carry and support there. 957, he's alright.
Yeah, he screams angrily, and SKS says, actually, maybe not on this one. He'll just resume farming in the bottom side. He's already gone for the initial Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yep.
So we'll get some more health after this, so he can increase his effective health. But unfortunately, I've seen every top lane on do so far, even when behind, which can sometimes be disastrous.
Iceborne Gauntlet, Abyssal Mask is one of the other strong ones as well, but Ryze already has it, so we'll see which route he goes. If it's straight towards something like an adaptive helm instead to be super tanky.
could be very good here, especially into Athena. Dragon has been started. It's already down to half, and Callista's amassing stacks here, so that's definitely going to go over to WE. Amazing Jade's keen, but the rest of the team wants to disengage.
SKS has smote the wall down. It has disrespected him, and he has squared up and destroyed it. It doesn't mean that they're going to go towards the Drake whatsoever, though. They have to back away with no Sejuani ultimate as it completely whiffs, and WE just take the objective.
And now here's the problem, because WE have done that thing again, where they've managed to get control over the map. And while it's not the tangibles, you can't look at the gold and be like, oh yes, they have a 5,000 gold lead, but you look at the map and you just know that they have control. And many teams get into this situation, and then they just sit there and die. Now, Bilibili Gaming, they did it last game, but they have been more proactive this game. So I'm hoping they'll try and find those opportunities again, specifically from the back of SKS.
To add a bit of context to this as well, this is the second set in a row that Team WE have played where it feels like their opponents have done nothing in certain points to respond to it whatsoever, except for right now.
Yeah, Xie getting knocked back. Good stuff from Athena. He'll flash away. Teleport being used and cancelled by 957.
But the thing you have to, I guess, respect WE for is, if it's 2 sets in a row and it looks like no one's able to do anything in response to them, is it just because WE are that good at bleeding people out, at preventing you from making plays, at setting up vision, controlling the map, and playing just slow enough to stop you from getting those movements off? I feel like that is starting to become more and more prevalent as Bilibili are making desperate moves to engage, knowing they have to, and I don't disagree with the sentiment behind it. The execution has clearly been a little bit off. WE is threatening mid lane now.
It's definitely true, but at some point you do have to try. That was a zoning ram as the Herald comes in. BLG are able to defend against this one push, but it was the mid tower that already went down. Second mid turret's at half, and WE got what they wanted.
Yeah, they already got the mid lane outer turret, so they're very happy with this push overall. The Herald was successful. They used it exactly where you'd expect them to break one of the hardest structures. Now, they can go towards the bottom side of the map. It's only 17 minutes into the game, and normally, with a lead that feels big, there's actually not a lead, by the way, when you look at the gold across both of these teams. It just feels like WE are in complete control. I think that bot lane outer turret is a very viable option for them to try and keep the Gangplank down, kill him before Baron's available, and they can't go down there.
Yeah, now, Dragon will spawn in around 4 minutes from now, so there is a chance for them to do that, but as you said, Baron going to be a thing shortly. Jin Zhao and Road actually manning up the top side. Let's take a look at some of the item builds as well, because Amazing J has finished up his Trinity Force. We've got Nash 2 from the mid lane. Again, the classic Guinsoo's Rage Blade in the bottom lane as well from Jin Zhao. They are hitting those item spikes, but probably when we get towards a Baron fight, or when we even get towards the next mountain, we're looking at second items from WE.
It is just very surprising to me that I'm looking at the gold difference being 400 gold. There's an extra turret to Team WE, and it feels like they have more CS across the board, which they do except for the jungle position. Yet it's only 400 gold the difference.
Yeah.
And I'd feel like a lot of that is Gangplank. I was wondering how much of it actually is Gangplank at this stage.
Probably, actually. I was trying to think maybe the supports, because I'm looking at the items, it seems like WE, maybe it's just the fact that they've gone back to base and picked up items, but look, they are slightly further ahead in terms of item build, so I'm like, what's going on here? Is this literally just it could just be Amazing J.
Trinity Force obviously being a very expensive item, he has that, and a Caulfields. So he's got a lot of money in terms of itemization, even compared to 957, with the Iceborne Gauntlet working towards the Abyssal Mask.
But it is the Bank of Plank. He's got the coin, Kleptomancy, and he's got his passive as well from Parlay. I'd probably go with yes. And 20 minutes into the game.
And it's not a coin janner either. So, not a lot of extra income coming from the support position of BLG.
Yep.
There you go. Let's just assume it's Gangplank. We'll roll with it.
Second item from Xie. Come on. Like, he's got 2 items. Bot lane's about to hit 2 items. Top lane's very close as well.
They're hitting item spikes for sure. And as far as strength is concerned, you know, we mentioned that the gold lead was there. It's starting to stretch out a little bit more currently. It does mean that they can still fight. They feel much more empowered. A Blade of the Ruined King is a big item spike, but having the Zeal with it helps a lot more. Extra move speed and attack speed with the Berserker Greaves. So Callista's super strong.
Ooh, knock up in the mid lane. Athena, good flash. And the cleanse as well at the very end of that, just in case. It does that every time, but this time it actually did work out.
He threw everything in the kitchen sink into trying to get away there, Athena. He does live, but the pressure starts to mount from Team WE. We're at 20 minutes. Xie has teleport, and they are threatening the Baron.
Bot lane. Oh, she is getting aggressed on by Amazing J. He's going to pop the ultimate. Now, I don't know if that was intentional, but she does find it hilarious.
It was a party Zonias. It was a stopwatch though, so it was clearly a mistake. I immediately looked at Amazing J's items and was like, does he have a Zonias? Is he messing with us?
No, I was looking at Shea because he was just busting up laughing. It's like, what are you doing?
Let's hope he doesn't need that stopwatch in the coming fight for
man.
BLG.
You know he's going to now.
Because that is super tragic. He was winning the trade as well, forced Shea back, and that's a good, promising move for the side of BLG if their split push is able to control and handle the 1v1.
It is unfortunate, especially because Mountain Dragon's spawning in 20 seconds. Baron's going to be objective, no doubt, shortly. In fact, WE have already made the first steps and started to ward it out. So, combat ready, everything is something that you want on your side. He's even picked up the Ghost Blade, that being Amazing J.
Yeah. WE have a Mountain Drake and there's another one spawning in 5 seconds. So, if the game plan is to secure a Baron, I would definitely say that this warrants them moving over to the Mountain Drake as a high priority objective, once again to make their jobs easier when they then transition back over as SKS.
By SKS, yeah, it's right onto Melon. He's taking a lot of damage, but he goes into his own perfect timing stopwatch, and he'll jump right on top of SKS. Maybe his dying breath as Athena will finish him off. Fate's Core comes in and Mystic looking for the re-engage, but out goes the target he was looking for. Ben has to flash out. Now she has turned up to the fight. Turned around back onto Amazing J. Ben just gets executed by the parlay though, and in comes Death's Daughter enhanced ultimate. Shie is gonna have to again. Zhonya's ultimate out. Mystic and 957 on the front lines. He dashes away but also falls. And BLG get a massive team fight win.
They do get the fight win. They turn it around directly next to the Baron pit also. Only Shie and Mystic alive means that they cannot come over. They cannot check this pit, or they risk dying to SKS because he's a tank still. He shouldn't take too much damage to this. Jin Zhao should actually be the one tanking it right now so they can secure it. Road doesn't have the Monsoon, but they get it. There's so much damage. Mistake from Team WE. They get caught out of position, but it was proactive by BLG. They actually get the fight. They actually get to make the play. And suddenly look how the game changes.
And frankly, it was really just from SKS right there. He tossed the ultimate. It was like, perfect. Well, that's the engage. There it is, right onto the enemy jungler.
The amount of damage that's followed up with it as well. Road comes in, is able to secure it. Of course, he's got his eyes set on the damage. Jin Zhao also connected with the ultimate. And Athena has been consistently hitting that entire time, playing very well in the Azir, but to scale it up and to secure with those items.
Great
From this point, they probably shouldn't have even gone in and made that play in the first place. Yes, it forces a flash, but so does Ben immediately afterwards. And WE to spend this entire time responding. Shie also should have just ult Zonia'd his way out at that point instead of flashing the wall. So WE just consistently making mistake after mistake. It gives everything to BLG.
I wonder how big this Baron power play is going to be, because you have to expect it's going to be rather large as they already crack open the mid lane tower. 957's actually the top lane. He's not assisting the team right now. That's another great ultimate onto Ben, and he goes down instantly. Bilibili Gaming, they're actually riding this one all the way. 2 towers in the mid lane, now starting to siege the inhibitor tower, and the recall has just started from 957.
No time to put up the door for Ben. He is gone. Amazing J, and they go in one more time to find Shie.
Zhonya's, but there's no ultimate from Shie, and he'll just fall as well. This is a kill, a tower, a kill, a tower. But the question is, how far can he keep on going?
It doesn't look like they want to stop Pulse. They're continuing to pressure. The minion waves are there. They've got the Baron to empower them further. Even Redemption thrown down.
And WE, if they put one step wrong, another person dies, and this could be a Nexus turret, maybe even more than that. And BLG in one push could end this. Melon's gone for the engage, and they've gone for this one proactively. Road, he swapped the ultimate there as well, and another kill over to BLG. WE, they may actually just lose the game right here.
It does look like they're about to lose Pulse with 2 minions left standing. WE with only 2 members left alive. They just pushed in one fell swoop and they end the game.
I actually cannot believe what I'm watching right now. In one single push, they've gone from outer mid turret to the Nexus, and they're on it itself. Down goes the Orn. They've done it. BLG will take game 2.
Things that I didn't expect to say in 2018 after that first game is that BLG just ripped apart Team WE.
What just happened?
They were given an inch. It was the first time we've seen in this whole series that they were given anything, and they took the game with it.
Yeah, they found an inch and took a mile. Sure, but it was literally a game where WE were winning until they lost. It was from outer mid turret to the Nexus.
I think we saw a bit of an insight into why Gangplank's always banned from Amazing J as well. Picks at seconds, able to have a very strong showing on it. The Azir looked good for Athena. I mean, BLG didn't look bad. Even when it felt like they were losing, the gold wasn't substantial. It capped at 2,000 for Team WE at most.
Look at that gold difference, all at the very end of the game. So the first drop was the team fight, and then the second drop was the push from Outer to the Nexus there. And Amazing J's damage, plus Athena really just saves it all.
Yeah, ending a game with 5,000 gold, the difference just